changing your city. Jim, tell us about it.
Well, in 2017, I was sitting at home. What I thought I wanted to do for ministry wasn't clicking, wasn't working. Finally, I got still with the Lord and said, it's not clicking, it's not working. What do you want me to do? I'll wait, and however long it takes. And you know, sometimes you ask God a question, it's a month, a year, a decade. Less than 5 minutes later, he said, I want you to go to the city council meetings and pray. And I've been one that can be very goal-oriented. You get a vision, and you reach out for that vision. This experience has been nothing like that. He said, take this step. That's all I could see. Now take this step. That's all I can see. And then through a period of time, going to the city council meetings, and I prayed there. And in fact, I spoke this morning at the city council meeting. Our mayor and city council, all 9 of them, signed a document, a proclamation called Pray Fort Worth Day, to come against the coronavirus. And on the end of that, this is what they proclaimed. Pray at noon this Wednesday, unite in prayer, and get this, humble ourselves before God to eradicate COVID-19 and heal Fort Worth. This is coming from our government. Rededicate ourselves to bringing healing to the sick, comfort to the brokenhearted, help to the needy, wisdom to our children, hope to the hopeless, and unity to Fort Worth.
Praise God.
Now that's leadership.
So when you started going to city council meetings to just pray, has anyone ever asked you, why are you here? Or
Yeah.
did it feel weird to?
Well, the first meeting I went to, I got there early, and you know, we're word people, right? Everything we want to do, God, give me a word. So I'm sitting there. Lord, I want a word out of Isaiah 9:6. The government, and it implies of the world, are on his shoulders. That's all I needed. Talk about being able to pray from a position of strength. And I went 4 months without saying anything, and they kept looking at me. They just kept looking at me.
Why is this guy here?
Why is this guy here?
What's he want?
I ended up meeting with the mayor and a number of the council members. And one of them said, well, what are you doing? What do you want? Do you want to become a council member? Is that why you're here?
Well, that's what usually they suspect when you start going. Right?
And I told her, I said, no, not really. I can be of more influence in the city without being a council member. And thus the start of changing your city. Mobilizing Christians to unleash the power of peace to change their city.
Okay, so because city councils, I mean, I know how they are in California. I don't know how they are here. They're not very safe spaces for Christians in California, I'm just saying. You don't like go in there and start yelling in tongues and all that. What do you do when you were going in and doing this?
2 years ago, last August, I met with the mayor. And I'd given some papers, and I talked about some things. And partway into the meeting, I said, Mayor, have I ever mentioned that I'm a Christian? No. I thought you might be. Have I ever mentioned the name Jesus Christ? No. Have I ever quoted a scripture? No. I said, I've done that purposefully. Because in this environment, you start doing that, your 5 minutes are over. I'm starting my 4th year doing this. I have credibility. Last December, I was asked to give the invocation. They're on Tuesday. Tuesday mornings, all the council members, all the department heads, they come together to talk over. And the first thing on the list is invocation. And here's what I heard happen. She goes, invocation is going to be given by Jim DeLong. Is that our Jim DeLong?
Our Jim DeLong.
You
oh, and that's something. Look at that.
You gain the right to be heard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let them test your character.
And they listen to that prayer. I guarantee you they do.
Everybody wants something off of a politician.
Yeah.
They're not used to somebody not wanting anything. And I helped a council member, not even in my district, get reelected. I stood up for them in the paper, and I've had lunch with many of them. But changing your city, God, you know how God gives people a message? My message is peace. Jesus said,
And that comes off of you. I know you can sense that. Comes off of you.
my peace I give to you, my peace I leave with you. Peace is not just tranquility. We know peace in the Hebrew, nothing missing, nothing lacking, nothing broken.
Shalom.
We have 3 foundation scriptures that we ask people to pray. Peace be still. Any storm in your life, we ask people to pray, peace be still over their family, their neighbors, and their city. And then Ephesians 2:14, get this, it says, Jesus himself will personally break down every dividing wall of hostility. So what we're doing, we're unleashing the force of peace. I pray this every day over my family, my neighborhood, and the leaders, and those who oppose God and are to bring down godliness in this country and raise up ungodliness and anarchy. Jesus will break those dividing walls down. And then the third one is, let the peace of God rule and reign in your hearts. That word rule means to be an umpire, like in a baseball game. So you have the city council and the mayor making decisions. We're unleashing the force of peace. Peace will help them make the right decisions.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the activists, peace, what does it say? That God turns the hearts of kings?
That's right. Yeah.
And we also know about the prayer of agreement.
Yeah.
Well, there's a facet of that we incorporate in what we're doing. We can come into agreement. But what happens when you come into agreement with the Word? God can't lie. If He says something, He has to do it, right? So we're unleashing the force of peace using scriptures. We're not begging God to do it. We're not asking God to do it. We're not commanding God to do it. None of that. God, you said you would do it. Your word will not return void. It will always accomplish everything you set it out to accomplish. But also, God needs people. He needed a Noah. He needed an Abraham. He needed a Moses. He needs a people. Ezekiel 22:30 says, I sought for a man or a woman to stand before me, to make up a hedge and build a wall before me for the land, and I found none. God is looking for people, so we're finding people.
He's looking for people to take a stand. That's one thing you teach.
Yeah.
And He's waiting on us. He can't move till we move.
Yeah. And why is that? Pastor Terry talked about that in the September BVOV, talked about authority. God gave man, the first words to man were to have dominion and subdue.
Yeah.
He won't cross that line.
Yeah.
You know how a lot of people say,
Yeah.
well, if God's so powerful, why doesn't He do something? He's waiting on us.
Yeah, He is.
Because we're the ones that have dominion down here.
Yeah.
And when His believers rise
That's
up,
right.
we call it the power of one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's another thing there's an article called 1 + 1 = 10,000.
Okay,
Wow.
so let me ask this,
Yeah.
because we've just got like 3 minutes or so
Okay.
left. When you go into these city council meetings, you've been doing this for 4 years.
Yeah.
You're one guy who went in there.
Yeah.
And what do? You just sit and pray quietly? Is that what you
Sit
do?
and pray quietly, intercede, and then as the Lord leads,
Okay, so
I
now
speak.
how has it grown? I mean, you've got this website, changeyourcity.org. How do other people, where's the next guy like you? How do we do with this?
We are just launching this. This has been 2 years in the making. We're just now launching Changing Your City, and we are getting the word out through social media and through other avenues. And one by one, it's a 3-minute prayer. and we're asking people to pray that prayer, because they can pray anything they want other times, but 3 minutes a day, pray that prayer. I met with the police chief wanted to meet with me, fine Christian man. And I said, just think what would happen if 100 of your police officers who are Christian every day while they were putting on the uniform and entering the battlefield, prayed this prayer. That's enough to change a city.
Yeah, it is. Oh, it absolutely is.
Yeah, so it's exciting. It's something very simple, very easy.
Wow.
And
God sent a Jonah to Nineveh. He sent a Jonah, one guy, and he sent you. And what we're going to experience tomorrow, and we're all giving cheers and altar or mayor, rightly so. But I'm gonna go so bold. This is my opinion to say that would have never happened had you not been there for the past 4 years,
Yeah.
praying and laying the groundwork for what's going to happen tomorrow in this church, in this
And
city.
the skeptic would say, well, what's their motivation? I don't really care. They're inviting Jesus in. Whatever their motivation is, Jesus is coming in and he's going to be a part of this thing tomorrow.
that's exactly
I know
right.
this has spoken to somebody's heart, and you need to do this, and you need to get involved. ChangingYourCity.org. Jim DeLong, thank you. Thank
It's
you,
an honor
sir,
to be here.
so very much for what you do. Thank you
Precious.
for what you've done.
Precious man.
And I want to see this all across America, from the smallest towns to the largest cities. You can do that.